the params from Goldilocks, but there are parts that I need the link for the I don't know what drawing this or yeah, or which dashboard, which
Yeah,
part of the
I
dashboard
can.
you want to show.
Yeah, I can get that. It's the config dashboard.
Just any part of it.
Let me make sure. I think everything's right. It's like a bunch of things were changing at the last minute, Ivy. So you have to forgive me. I think this is right. Yes. Whoa.
And then where do we upload this terms and conditions?
Honestly, I was just gonna pass it to SEM or something to get it on IPFS, but we have to get it on IPFS. Unless, do you guys know how to do that?
I'm clueless.
Me too.
I'm sorry.
It's something.
I've done it before, but I know it's easy, but it's a lot easier for someone who does it all the time. Sem does this stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can just schedule a call with Sam, and maybe I just look how he does it, and maybe I learn something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I bet that would be fun anyway. You guys got to hang out more, man. You guys used to hang out all the time.
Yeah, I mean now he's
Now
in.
he's like,
Now he's in. I mean now he's doing like new things in his life. So it's the first time he's on America. So it's time.
yeah.
I mean, but we actually like speak like daily, like.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, like actually when he was in Costa Rica, he was telling me every day, "I'm doing sport. If I don't do sport, I give you $50."
That's right.
I was
It
like
was saying.
his less word or something like that.
Yeah, you guys had like a stretching thing.
Yeah.
He has to tell you that he's stretched once a week, otherwise he loses money.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Sam's friend.
Okay. So,
I think I will lose a lot.
so the intention is to put this document into a IPFS, right? This augmented bonding curve used in terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you send me the link, Ivy?
It's not done yet, though. We're
Yeah.
gonna finish, but
And the terms and conditions for submitting a proposal should go to the gardens. Is that right?
yeah, but that's gonna take. I don't think that there's a checkbox yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, it's here. And is this the graphic? Or how many
Yes.
graphics do you...
No, that's the graphic. That's it.
Okay, I'm gonna delete this part. And then there's another one. I am not sure what they want to include here. The smart contracts.
Man, there's a lot. crap. Let me see. What do we have here? There's no minimum amount of TEC tokens. Oh yeah, Gardens has it. Sorry for the bad formatting, but these are all the addresses.
But can we change?
You can change the formatting all you want,
Okay.
but the address is the the title of the contract is above the address.
Like this? Oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So the funds manager this is the address of the funds manager. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna.
It's it's a it's a lot. I'm sorry. And I'll get that. Let's see.
Um, let me just.
Ivy, thank you so much for dealing with me. I'm so sorry that it took this long. I guess it didn't take that long. I just should have
Yeah.
done it yesterday.
It's just
GM Gene.
What's up, good sir?
Oh,
Morning, all. Legal stuffs.
Legal.
Yeah, I just wanted to drop in and mention that I was listening to the like a metagame podcast or whatever, and the guy was from I think it was OX Joshua, and he had mentioned the fact that he had some legal advice himself that he should have a something as extreme as having a LLC for each DAO that you're operating within. Wonder what you
Hmm.
guys thought about that.
This is what the trusted seed is hoping to solve.
I mean, but for not everybody that we're working with is in the trusted seed, right? So, and it does require. Is everybody in the
all,
TEC
all the
trusted seed?
hatchers.
Okay, I mean, okay, but even anybody that walks in the door, like just for for my like conscience for advising as a guide or whatever. If somebody wants to begin working within, say, the TEC, um, would that be something that I should mention, or is it
Yeah, I mean, I
something
think
that right?
For Americans and people in the UK, people who fall under common law jurisdictions, it's probably worth mentioning. If you're in Spain, it doesn't matter. No one's because they practice Latin law and there's different requirements. Like you can't just sue someone for anything. In the States, anyone can sue anyone for anything. It's really
Sorry, tort
annoying.
law, right?
Yeah, tort laws. Latin law doesn't have so Latin countries. Most of the stuff around the Mediterranean, they don't really have those issues. But like Switzerland and Germanic countries do, the UK and the US, Canada, all, and I think I don't know if South America's laws matter that much. Just to be frank, so because I don't think half the people care. Um, so, so I don't even know. I don't know. Zep, you would know. You're originally from Argentina, right?
Yeah, Uruguay, but like people.
Uruguay. That's right.
My father is driving the car and he don't have like this insurance, and if he have an accident and breaks other one's car, it's like, oh, who cares, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. That's in
I'll
Uruguay.
tell you that.
Oh, yeah, in Uruguay, yeah. In Spain, you have to have your
Yeah.
insurance.
Because Uruguay's my understanding is like Uruguay is like the Switzerland of South America. It's like the classiest of the spots that the laws actually matter the most.
I mean, yeah, that probably in the past. Now it's not anymore. But yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Sadly, so sad.
Oh. Damn.
That's
This is
interesting.
why I don't lead the legal group, by the way. Thank you, Ivy. No, it's Ivy's the only one staying quiet here.
The smartest one in the group, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quiet one in the corner
Definitely.
is always the smart one, right?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think it's. I don't think it's. I mean, this is just the fact of the matter in any DAO. You know, if you hold tokens for any DAO, then someone could go as far to say that you are liable for anything that DAO does. And if someone like, I mean, did you see someone sued Pool Together? You know, Pool
Yeah.
Together.
New York, yeah, I saw that. They mentioned that in that same podcast.
I
Oh,
mean,
it's
that's
not. That's not true. I was
ridiculous.
do a Twitter space. Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right? So like, but this is the reality of these jurisdictions, and it's like, I think for the most part you're pretty much okay, but it's the best strategy for sure. And I know a few people who take this strategy. They have an LLC. The LLC holds all of their crypto, and that's and does any voting actions. And the LLC is doing everything, and they have some paperwork behind the scenes to do it. And that is by far the best thing to do. There's a lot of friction there.
I mean, if we're trying to be, that I've been dying really to write a kind of somewhat slanted forum post about shelling and the shelling point. But if we're trying to be that real, in reality, it would probably be a very good idea to start mentioning that as an intelligent thing, even if you're in trusted seed. I mean, trusted seed is only good to 10K, right? So let's
Hmm.
be real. And if you do get sued, you're going to get sued for well over 10K of liability. Right? So
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, the we don't even the trusted seed doesn't take away your liability. What it does is it pays for your lawyers.
it's illegal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously it's gonna. Yeah. So
So like
yeah,
even
obviously,
the
I mean, it's
trusted
just
seed actually doesn't protect you. It just what
no.
it does is it creates it's more of a mutual aid group so that it's like we're all in this together. And if one of us has a problem, all of us have a problem. We're going to fight for that. That's kind of the mantra of the trusted seed. Minimum viable legal protection through mutual aid. But it's not like it's definitely not a solution. As your ex Joshua said, the real solution, if you're an American, get an LLC, write some paperwork that the LLC holds all of the contracts and everything, and you as a person are just executing the wishes of the LLC. And it's like this
well, I
legal
mean,
fiction that protects you.
would there be any utility to potentially creating going ahead and doing a TEC DAO in with the Wyoming law, and then like having it be collectively owned by the broader TEC? I mean, what's the legal structure of the broader TEC?
Unfortunately, the bonding curve, I think, prevents us from doing a Wyoming DAO.
What is the legal preventive mechanism?
It would be considered that would be issuing a security as a Wyoming as a Wyoming legal entity. It cannot issue this security. we
I mean,
we're what we're talking about doing is making it, and I don't know, Ivy's hacking hard on the terms and conditions right now, but this Alderney, we're going to register the TEC in Alderney and have work agreements with the TEC in Alderney, and like there's like this creating a legal entity in Alderney is like super basic and simple. And I think that's the approach that we're going to take.
I'm not familiar with Alderney. Is that an island protectorate or?
It's an island. It's a channel island outside in between the UK and France.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, like Island of Wight or okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or Isle of Man, or the Guernsey,
Yeah, Guernsey. Yeah, Guernsey. Or High Brazil. Yeah. Nah, just
Yeah.
those it's mythical. Okay. Hmm, okay. Okay.
What's a Wyoming DAO, by the way? Or Wyoming thing you said? I've googled it, but I didn't find it.
Wyoming DAO is it's a structure that was put in place by the girl that was the whistleblower at uh, uh, Cambridge Analytica on the Facebook uh, data sharing breach issue a couple of years ago. Her name is Brittany. Yeah, I bought her book. You see, Brittany Kaiser. Yeah. So she wrote this book. Ordered it. I could have the copy and maybe get it signed one day. But yeah, she's uh, uh, I'm not sure if she was originally a lawyer, but she has a JD now. Yeah, they got a Wyoming law passed that allows for a uh, not sure if it's actually an LLC. I had the um I have the link to the actual bill from the Wyoming legislature. But it basically allows for them to for a company or a structure to have legal U.S. banking rights, provided that they don't issue their own security, like Crick indicated.
Oh, I see. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because through this Wyoming DAO LLC, you can actually register your DAO as a Wyoming corporation, and then that Wyoming corporation, as owned by the DAO and governed by the DAO through legal structuring, can actually own property. It can own a house. It can own a car. And so your DAO and your DAO's governance will be legally respected and can actually perform functions in the like United States at least. It's it's uh it's definitely a very interesting building block, especially for like refungible NFTs representing a house, for instance, right? And being able to actually enforce on-chain mechanisms through a legal system. I haven't seen anyone really like take it on as a like a mission. I mean, I'm sure there are people, but I haven't seen anyone execute yet on anything interesting with them, like really like bold. But it's happening for sure.
Yeah, it can be very wild. Like, imagine DAO governing like a piece of the earth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I dropped an article in the agenda. I came across this article while I was working on the terms and conditions for the trusted seed. It's very interesting. So yeah, you might want to check that out. And also this, where is it? And this legal framework that they're recommending the DAOs. It's a white paper. You can read here exactly about the Wyoming DAO.
Can you send me the link?
if you're interested. It's in the agenda, the legal agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
So, I, sorry, I was just gonna ask if are you in the Philippines or?
yeah, I'm in the Philippines.
I mean, does anybody else have a concept of what it's like to be in crypto from the United States versus everywhere else, or does nobody really think about that or worry about that since they're not in the United States?
I mean, I have an American passport. Ashamed to say.
Well, yep.
I just kind of stick my head in the sand. The other thing is I don't own any assets that someone can steal, right? All I have is crypto. I don't have a house or cars or an income that people could like somehow, that's the stuff that all of a sudden you start having things that people can steal through legal means. That's when the laws really matter and you have to be like, oh no, if I don't put all my crypto in LLC, someone can take my house. I'm paying rent in Costa Rica for $200 a month right now. Like it's just a different, and that's the life I chose to live a long time ago, is not have assets in that legal system.
That's it. And by people, just mean Uncle Sam versus anybody else. I mean, it could be anybody else, but the real risk is taxation and um,
No, no, it's the tort law. It's someone using Uncle Sam to sue you and then take your house, right? Now, obviously, it's also paying taxes and stuff that as well, but the LLC stuff is, and the liability stuff that you have with entering a DAO, it's not actually like, oh, the government's going to take it. It's that someone in New York is going to sue Pool Together and say, oh, hey, you as a pool token holder could be liable for this guy's lawsuit, right? And then he's actually the one suing. And so it is someone else suing you. But because the government can steal your assets are really what are liable. Like you aren't liable. Like no one's going to put you in jail for being a member of the DAO. But your assets are the things that are like liable, you could say. I think these are not legal terms, but these are the fears, as far as I understand it. At the same time, I'm not going to pretend that I'm a legal scholar. Although the SEC did write a letter once that gave me said I was okay. So that was cool. Cuz I was literally saying, "Hey, buy DAO tokens. It's awesome. It's practically a risk-free thing. Don't worry about it." While I was in Seattle, as an American, saying DAO tokens are great. You should get them. Right? And then the SEC comes out later with this report that's like, the DAO tokens were a security, but we're gonna let it go. I was like, thank God. Thank fucking God. I was not selling I was selling securities, from US soil and all this stuff, unregistered securities, but they're gonna be cool with me. They're gonna be cool.
that was the Howie coin thing or whatever. The
They said that the DAO failed the Howie test. I still don't believe
Yeah.
that to be true. And I
The,
think if the
the,
DAO would have run its course, they wouldn't have either. But
so
it
that's
didn't.
that's
So.
my final legal question for all of you guys, really, and just particularly for the group of you, all of you who are stewards, because you all either are stewards right now or have been stewards in the past. That's what I think the current uh, estimation of what the ultimate end game is of the Howie test is going to be the people, not the DAO itself. So it's going to charge that because the executive or the C-suite group or the stewards, the leadership, um, has the ability to direct the functionality of whatever value might be created going forward. That in and of itself makes this, makes a securitized structure, and so they would challenge that in order to circumvent that or remove the liability of the leadership to the DAO structure, that leaders would have to basically leave and divest themselves, um, after X period of time, like a year or two or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's the guidance that I read about anyway. So that all leaders would have to, the work that you put in to get this thing standing up, you basically have to walk away from it, and yeah, not so. Wondering if anybody had that in mind to do.
I mean, I think that's a way to prove airtight that, it's not like third parties controlling, that can end the Howey test. But also, like, there has to be, I think there's other ways to prevent the Howey test, right? And this third party thing. Like, I feel like the way that we're doing it with this rage quit mechanism, like if we really had to go to court about this thing, it's like we were kind of centralized at the beginning because there was a whitelist of people that could actually put money in. And that's the part that's all covered by the trusted seed, or at least like people had to be members of the trusted seed to even participate in. But then after that, the DAO votes to upgrade to a commons with a bonding curve. And that's where the security starts, because the hatch is not a security, right? People put money in and then they get tokens that are worth less, right? They put in $1, they get 75 cents. Oh, wow. That's clearly not security. There's no expectation of investment. But then the DAO, every individual has the ability to rage quit. So the DAO collectively decided to upgrade into a commons that now has more of a security mechanism with the bonding curve, where there's like an asset that has volatility and could go up in value. Because this is how Moloch DAOs like feel really safe, because like you put money into a Moloch DAO and the value of your token is only going to go down. So, because there's no like profit mechanisms. And then when you put profit mechanisms in, like Metacartel Ventures, then you need this legal structure. You can only have up to 100 people in the DAO legally, and there's all this stuff, right? And so then the next step for us right now that we're doing this commons upgrade, anyone could have rage quit. And that we're hoping is like our, out on like reliance on third parties, and also because the token holders there's no tokens being generated for some central team. Like the stewards don't get tokens, they got some impact hours that were generated in the hatch, but when the TEC launches, it's like stewards there's not a batch of tokens for stewards, right? So it's kind of like we think that
So
we are sufficiently decentralized.
there's no tokens that are minted based on the trusted score. It's just a purchase like ability, but not no none
There
generated.
was in the hatch. There was in the hatch, but not when we upgrade. So the TEC token, no. TECH, yes. And so we're trying to mitigate some of these issues with our structure, but it's still like a little dicey, It's still not quite, let's make this a Wyoming DAO. We're firmly in the gray area, I would say. We're doing our best, and in the end, in the end, you can never stop someone from suing someone in the States. Like that's just can't stop that. You can do what you can to mitigate it. And I think what we've done more so we can't stop that. But I think we can, if someone claimed that this was a security and that we were selling to American citizens or people in Iran or something like that, like I think that we could argue that we're not. That it's not a security, that it was never sold. The TC token was never sold. It, that when people can mint and burn it through the bonding curve, if individuals decide to sell their tokens on secondary markets, that's not the TEC doing it, right? So there's these structures in place that's like kind of it's definitely very novel, and I think someone could attack it, but I think if we really fought it, we would win. And I don't think, and the biggest thing is that no one will attack it because it's staying small and pretty boring, you know? It's like we're advancing token engineering. We're not like building the future of DeFi and going to be the future of finance. We're going to help people write research papers and, run classes for tokens in token engineering. It's like, I think that's really the staying small and staying cause focused, I think, is the biggest legal defense that we have.
It's very reasonable. It could be said that it's implied beyond, but obviously implied is not explicitly stated.
I'm mostly trying to convince myself here, so it's okay.
It's kind of similar what I am also doing here. Stay like I try like the state. Don't look at me, right? Like you do nothing, then they don't look at you. That's the way.
Exactly.
I mean, can I look at this document as well, or is this only for this group?
No, yeah, go for it. These are the terms for buying into the bonding curve. The more eyes, the better.
We also have another document, Gene, that you might want to look at. This the terms and conditions for submitting proposals to conviction voting. So yeah, it's also in the agenda.
I can hear the birds on. He's cute.
Yeah, they're very nice here. I like to show this off sometimes. Mitch's house is just like past those cow fields. Right up there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, it would be so cool. I have like this place, and then a lot of houses, like a village, but far everyone, but then at the same time close. It's awesome. I really love
Yeah,
it.
Mitch would walk, Sem would walk between Mitch's house and our house. It was nice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he was telling me like to go to the supermarket also is like a nice experience. Like he was always telling me like I would love the vibes there. Like, very hippie and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it looks like your place in Ecuador, Griff. Like overlooking this green.
Yeah. Yeah, the spot in Ecuador is actually it was just a Airbnb, well, not an Airbnb, but a bed and breakfast that I was friends with the owner, so I just stayed there for a while. This is actually Lauren actually rents this house. But yeah, that spot in Ecuador was sick. That was like a really sweet spot.
It looks similar with the view that you have there right now.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
The view that you had in Ecuador looks similar with the view that you have there in Costa Rica.
Yeah, totally.
My drift jealousy factor went up by like 10,000x right now. That's that's a crazy view. I will make my way down there someday, whether it kills me.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And the next events I think are like ETH Barcelona. A bunch of people will be going there. Chewy's has an event in what, March 4th in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yep.
some people are gonna go from ETH Denver to ETH Rio, and they are like stopping in Mexico in like the midweek between those.
Oh, nice. When is Rio?
It's like the second week of March, I think, like somewhere around the 15th or something like that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Is that how you picked the date?
no, we tried to avoid Mexico's largest music festival, which is like I think around it Rio, and we were like, yeah, let's do it like the week before or something like that. And yeah, we also didn't want to overlap with Rio or Barcelona, so yeah, the beginning of March just made sense. And there's Ethereum Mexico City in August. But yeah, ETH Global gets to pick those dates.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so there's Mexico on the 4th, ETH Rio. There'll definitely be a few people there. Vitor and Livia and Fabio and Pedro, I think, will all be there. And then ETH Barcelona will be huge. Supposedly early April. Still like up in the air. Lots of people will be there. And
And
then
then ETH Amsterdam, I think,
that
like
one
mid-April
definitely,
Yeah,
or late April, something.
people have been talking a
I
lot
will.
about that.
I will still be on probation until 2026, so maybe then won't be an ideal
2026.
date. But
So you can't leave the States until then?
can't leave California till then. Can't
Oh,
even leave
man.
the county.
That's
Say something.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Don't smoke weed,
What
my
county?
friends. Riverside County. Mhm.
Riverside.
Yep.
Okay.
They want to give me 7 years, so I'll in prison. So I'll take hanging out at home for 5 years instead.
My God, man. Well, hopefully you can get some lawyers or something to like get past that shit and like get somehow like appeal or something. That's crazy. Get the crypto gains first. Crypto gains first, then lawyers, and then freedom.
Unfortunately, I don't think it works that way when you're in the States either. It's kind of get the crypto gains, then give back the crypto gains, then maybe leave the United States.
Good point.
Hey, Griff, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the terms and conditions for submitting a proposal? Last time we talked that we want to add this dissolution part. I don't know what to write here actually because I just got this from Gnosis terms. So I don't know how easy can be dissolved.
Yeah. Well, because the DAO could, I mean, there's so many ways the TEC could be dissolved, but the DAO could basically choose to send all the money somewhere and turn off the bonding curve and turn off conviction voting and uninstall the apps Like the DAO can shut everything down.
So is it? Do we use the same wording here? Governance mechanism.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Okay.
do we not have governance mechanism anywhere else in this?
No. So I feel like we have to. I don't know if we have to
Define?
define this. To put
You're
a
probably
definition here.
yeah. You're probably right. And you could just define it in there.
Okay.
We don't have. I mean, there's got to be something. Okay. Do you want to look at my additions here and accept or reject, Ivy?
Okay. Let me take a look quickly. I'm not sure if you have used hatchers. I guess you have to define this because this is the we haven't defined hatchers anywhere else
Okay.
in this.
You don't have to define it. Whatever you use to say this, it wasn't. This means that 100% of the tokens minted. We could just say at initialization. But then, in
Yeah.
fact, maybe we should clear it up further, and say something. Tokens minted after initialization have no lockup times, or are fully transferable, or something like that. If we just delete the hatchers thing, I still think it needs a little bit more qualification.
Okay.
I can just write it at the end.
And this one is utilizing the ABC. Something is missing here.
Oh, thank you.
Are the stewards considered TEC employees, or what's the term? What's
Not yet. Most of the stewards are considered working for the common stack, and but Chewy, Eduardo, a few other people are technically working for TEC. They're getting donations from Giveth through a TEC,
Yeah.
like labeled.
I'm meaning to ask
What?
been meaning to talk to you about that or ask you about that. So that seems to be the mechanism, secret mechanism of sorts.
A what?
That method of creating a project or a community donation uh, through Giveth and receiving donations through a trace or whatever. Um, feels like a backdoor payment mechanism. Obviously, it is kind of.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
And also, if I was thinking about this, the term TEC employees, 'cause I feel like we don't employ anyone since we're not a corporation. I feel like the members, the contributors who get paid are requesting funds from the pool, so they're not. We don't have any. I don't know if employee could be applicable for the TEC since we're not a corporation.
That's true. They're all just independent contractors, effectively, that are requesting funds themselves from a pool.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I'm supposed to be doing anything like anything of guiding anybody justice, like this is basically the first question that anybody asks is gonna, how can I at least, work to earn something? Or, I mean, everybody wants to participate, but they do want to get, paid for it. Eventually, they're happy to do something to start with, but and find a place. But it's not really fair to let anybody, put any sort of significant effort in without having it clear as to how they're going to be remunerated for their efforts. And it's kind of particularly obfuscated at the moment, and it doesn't feel right to allow that to continue to be the case, without trying to explicitly state somewhere, somehow, what the relationships really are.
There was you came in after the praise debates, right?
Shortly after, yeah, the Praise Mageddon thing, or
Yeah, because during those debates it was very public. Some people are getting paid, some people aren't, also before that we had a very clear reward mechanism where every 2 weeks you got impact hours, for contributing. But then after that, in this in between area, we couldn't do impact hours. We just after the praise Mageddon, we decided to totally revamp our praise system, right? So then it was like our reward mechanism got shut off. And our reward mechanism was originally like very clear, telling everybody who was getting paid and who wasn't. Uh, so I think you're right that we could have done a better job at like bringing that to a forefront of sorts. But yeah, at the same time, it was like because there's no real money, it's not like we could hire anyone or anything. So it's like what we're doing still now is the previous praise that people were getting, will be rewarded through TEC tokens after TEC tokens go liquid and the reward board gets TEC tokens. There's going to be like a retroactive praise thing, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that happens, right? So there's no guarantee that anything happens because who knows? Maybe the reward board is just like fails or something. Like there's so many things that can go wrong in crypto. Maybe we get hacked, right? So I don't think that's likely. I'm pretty sure that the reward board will give people who receive praise some TC tokens, but the
so.
amounts and everything, who knows?
Yeah, so but that's kind of, I mean, we just said that you're being a steward or having a C-stack score doesn't give you tokens, and now we just said it does, and it, it's just I understand you're trying to cover all these kind of potential uh, difficulties, or all the bases in one English statement, and a verbal English statement. It doesn't, it's kind of impossible. So I understand, um, trying to describe it at the same time, make legal considerations with your rhetoric, but it's it's not. I'm asking you
Well,
to do something that's impossible, and that's not fair. But
yeah,
you're
it's
trying
it's
hard. And
unclear. It's unclear how people are going to be rewarded. Like the reward board will decide at a future date, and maybe they decide not to do retroactive,
So a reward, the
rewards.
reward board is a group of people, as in like the members of the board, or is it like a dashboard, like a functioning?
Members, a group of people. So there's like the rewards system working group, who's going to try to. They basically applied for funding before the DAO was ready, but so that they will get TEC tokens at launch through the initial buy. And then it's kind of up to them to decide exactly how it works. It seems like that people will probably get rewarded for past praise, but it's like I'm not on the reward board, and I don't even go to those calls, so I can't tell you how
Is it the
it's gonna
rewards?
work.
It's just the rewards working group. I thought it was just deciding about how praise was structured.
Yeah, but then there's the retroactive praise, right? There's the praise that hasn't been accounted for since August or whatever, or July.
The larger issue is obviously what even to do with the praise score. If it's just a score, what does it even mean in the end if it's not already voted and set in stone, right? So, um, yeah, I mean it's fair enough to say that it's undecided and it's impossible to say how it's going to happen because it's literally not been, it's impossible to decide it as of yet. The discussions haven't happened, but um, it's also just somewhat disingenuous when there is a mechanism that other people are receiving, uh, you know, monthly and pay from, and that's somehow not available to everybody, but you know is kind of available to everybody, but only if you kind of know what to do first and know how to do it, and that there's an agreed upon process. It's
Well,
just yeah.
yeah, I mean, the Common Stack was paying people through Common Stack funds, and then hiring people to build commons, and then we came into this awkward middle ground, and it was like clear that the Common Stack couldn't pay for some of the services because they stopped being for commons and started being just for TEC. So there was legal things there like Communitas and Comms, and so I just started paying for it through donations, and that's just on me basically paying for these things. Maybe I'll get reimbursed for it, maybe not. I don't even know if I'll ask for it, but I might. And yeah, I'm just paying for people, to make sure this works.
Okay. Okay, sorry to interrupt, but we're on top of the hour. So I guess we can wrap up the call.